Threadling damage can now scale up seemingly indefinitely. Bows can loop themselves into a 35% damage buff, including on crossbows, and Mint Retrograde got a damage boost too because that was totally needed. These effects are included in the 2 new rows of the artifact mods added in Ash and Iron. So starting from column 1 we have the standard anti-champion options, anti-barrier bow, overload sword. Column 2, the first banger, Threadling Proliferation. This simply spawns in Threadlings as you deal damage with any strand weapon. It's on a damage dealt counter, with the required damage threshold going up the higher the enemy tier. So you are realistically looking at 1 Threadling per enemy defeated on either red bars, orange bars or elites. For some reason no Threadlings will be generated by this mod against boss tier combatants, which is a shame. However, Mint Retrograde is incredible here. Or you could use something like Final Warning, as apparently strand debuff targets spawn in more Threadlings. Though I didn't notice this too much during testing. As long as you are using a strand weapon though, this is just passive free damage, and will pair with a later mod too. The other column 2 option requires a different weapon type, this time kinetic. Just at base, kinetic weapons will all have increased ammo generation. It's hard to make out exactly how much. I tried some kills before and after this mod was equipped and it seemed rather minimal. But after picking up an Orb of Power, this effect is boosted for 8 seconds with the buff Lightforged Lead. And now the effect is noticeable. Even just against these basic red bar enemies in Altar of Sorrow, you can see the ammo generation chunking with every enemy defeated. Again, this one is just as simple as if you have a kinetic weapon, you might as well run this. Column 2 doesn't really have that much competition. Column 3 might just have the star of the show with pack tactics. This is how Threadling builds might be coming back. A Threadling hit increases their damage by 15%. 2 hits or more increase their damage by 30%. Once this 30% is met, any Threadlings within the next 6 seconds are also buffed, and further hits refresh the timer. However, any Threadlings within this time also slowly get increased damage with every single hit. Not by much, but it slowly creeps up. With a Warlock Threadling based rotation, near the start Threadlings were dealing roughly 400 damage, and towards the end was up to 600. With the amount you can create now, this adds up quite quickly. Remember that Weaver's Call was buffed to passively generate Threadlings as you deal damage, and Threadlings just as a whole got a base 20% boost. This also does apply to Threadlings created by the Super Needlestorm. Euphony is a huge winner too, as this spawns Threadlings on repeat, ensuring the damage timer is never allowed to expire during boss DPS. I'll do another video on this setup as both the total and per second damage is insane. The other column 3 option is not nearly as exciting, but it is a powerful enabler. Score precision hits with bows, snipers or scouts to gain armor charges as long as your armor charge total is currently less than 2. To get a charge you need 2 hits per sniper, 3 hits for bows and 5 for scouts. The archetype doesn't actually matter, so go for rapid fire snipers or scouts for quick armor charge. Column 4 we have that fresh bullet smell. Peculiar name, but simple enough effect. Pick up an Orb of Power and you gain Kinetic Surge times 2 for 10 seconds. If you are running Kinetic Surges on your boots already, this doesn't stack. It does allow you however to match your surges with an equipped energy or power weapon, and then have your kinetic slot also get some kind of boost. Like Lightforged Lead, run this if you have a kinetic weapon. But I don't see this being a must have even if you do, as there are some other powerful column 4 options. Energy Acceleration might be one of those. It's a benefit to micro missile weapons. This includes rocket assisted pulse rifles, rocket assisted sidearms and micro missile gels, which are the mountaintop type ones. Dealing damage with them would trigger a kinetic shockwave on that target. Think kinetic tremors, but only once. The damage from this is admittedly nothing to be amazed at, with Mint Retrograde hitting for 144 per proc, but this proc is quite often. Mint Retrograde will activate it every single shot. Though there is an internal cooldown, so holding down fire it will realistically be per 2 shots. Scaling this damage is possible, but awkward. It won't scale with weapon bound damage increases like bait and switch or elemental honing, but some external boosts will work. So hazardous propulsion, for example, increases rocket damage and will benefit the shockwave. Hazardous and mint is a great pairing, by the way. Finally, this mod does absolutely nothing with the exotic new Malpace. Why? Well, because this thing is just insanely bugged. It isn't getting benefits from anything it should do currently, but it should be benefiting from this and will hopefully be patched soon. Finally, column 5. This is where the heavy hitters can be found, and this time I'll say these are decent but not game breaking. Iron Lord's Vigor will be better when the exotic axe is released later this season, but for now you can still get some benefit. Just having a sword equipped will reduce incoming damage. It's hard to test this one exactly, but hopefully you can see a bit of difference in these clips. At a guess it's resist times 2, which is a 25% damage reduction. The better part of this perk though is ammo generation. Every 3 sword defeats, 3 ammo will be returned. So sword ad clearers you can actually go infinite. With relentless strikes you could even go positive. However, it doesn't matter how these kills happen as long as it was with a sword. So yes, Arc Conductor Ergo will return ammo on repeat for just being near enemies. I can see this being a really nice combo going forwards. Argent Quiver is the big bow buff, and thankfully this does work on the big bows. Anything including Leviathan's Breath and crossbows will get a damage buff by consuming armor charges. Per armor charge consumed, the next 3 shots will deal 35% more damage, or 25% more if it's a heavy slot bow. Remember the semi-auto striker mod, which gives you an armor charge per 3 bow crits, also exists. So if you're using one of these, you should also use the other to create an infinite loop. This damage boost will stack with other existing buffs, such as surges and weapon perks, so it is just a straight up increase. I did find it a little hard to maintain both surges and this simultaneously however, as the loop only allows for 1 armor charge in and 1 armor charge out. You could use stacks on stacks to solve this problem, but then you're giving up 1 surge slot. Still though, it helps out bow DPS substantially. The question is bow DPS any good? It's not. Leviathan's is passable, but with low total. Crossbows without the Broken Biden Blast mod are on the lower end of heavy damage, but with technically infinite total. Lemon and Bolt Charge is decent, but Bolt Charge damage isn't what it used to be. If you're using bows, this mod is perfect, but it's not just suddenly going to make bows meta. And that's the lot. Threadlings are OP, and thank you for watching.